Transhumanism, the fundamental idea is that humans become gods by trusting technology. And you notice that movement, turning humans into gods, little g, super intelligent gods. What is the answer to it? The answer to it is a movement in the reverse direction. The central message of the Christian faith is that God became human.
Here we go again with another God Said video. Anyway, maybe one day I'll get somewhere with these videos. So, God said that one day it's going to become extremely easy to find all the humans that have no emotions. God said that one day he would send many examples to this earth of other, of men. You guys would call them prophets. And these men, and their sole responsibility would be to teach the other humans how to use their emotions, to have compassion, love, and all that good stuff. God said that it's going to get to the point so that humans are going to completely miss the point of this and just get to the point to where they're just memorizing the words of their scriptures and Bibles and not really understanding, but trying to learn to create cultures of understanding how to use their emotions. And they won't learn how to believe in God.
As most people know, Egypt is very visible in popular culture, right? We have mummy movies, we have Egypt showing up in Katy Perry music videos about 10 years ago. So students do come in with a lot of knowledge, which is great because it gives them a way into the material. When I ask students what they know about Egypt when they come into class, it's always pyramids, Tutankhamun, kings. And that's another example of something that is totally understandable because it's super visible in the record, right? The Giza pyramids are visible from space. So obviously that's something that will attract students. But Egyptian kings were not the only ones hanging about in Egypt, right? We have a lot of other really rich characters. So right now my main project, which is the book that I'm trying to write, is based on trying to approach Egyptian kingship from a non-royal perspective. So we're really trying to understand how kings fit into broader ancient Egyptian society. So questions like who actually interacted with kings and when and why, where did they do that? Or did everyone have access to the pyramids? And if not, what does that tell us about who was engaging with royal power? And so I would really like to ask a farmer, an Egyptian farmer, what they thought of the pyramids. Did they think it was a symbol of kingship? Did they think they were beautiful? Did they think they were monuments to autocratic power? I think that would be a really interesting conversation to have.
We're making a Homo Deus, says Harari. We'll get there in the future, but he's too late. There already is a Homo Deus. And the central message of the Christian gospel, and I say it often to people and I shock them when they advance this transhumanist thesis to me, I say, you're too late. And they say, what do you mean we're too late? I say, and I refer them to what starts in Genesis, and I call it the seed project. The project of the Word becoming flesh and dwelling among us. And the interesting thing is, all these attempts right through history is the attempt of human beings to become gods. God's answer to it is the exact reverse direction. Not man becoming God, but God becoming man. That is spectacular, you know. Have you ever thought how special you are as a human being? What is the most special thing about human beings? I think it's this, that God so created them that he could become one. That is awesome. Humanity 101, created in the image of God. And here we have these highly intelligent scientists saying, we're moving towards a better kind of human being, we're going to re-engineer, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Careful. Careful. Because what we find is that these attempts instead of enhancing humanity, have the effect of dehumanizing. And overcoming physical death has already been achieved. God raised Jesus from the dead the third day. They're too late. And uploading into another world has already been achieved. Jesus has been uploaded. And I'm told by a book that I love that if we trust him, we too shall one day be uploaded.
Heart rate stable.
Splice is about two young, brilliant scientists, played by Adrian Brody and Sarah Polley, and what they do is create hybrid organisms by splicing DNA from different species for a large pharmaceutical company. But they're young and they're ambitious, and what they really want to do is add human DNA to the mix. But the company objects to this, so they do it in secret. And then terrible, terrible things result.
You can't let her out. Specimens need to be contained.
Don't call her that.
What's going on?
Really, my interest in making the film was not so much in, I think, what is typically done in these sort of films where the creature goes on the loose and wreaks havoc in the city, but in keeping the film enclosed, keeping it hermetic, and making it much more about the relationships between the creators and the creation.
It's empty. Clive?
I think that's where Splice steps into places that other films have not tread, or have been perhaps a little bit afraid to tread, because there is a sexual component to this story. There's a sexual component to the relationship between the scientist and the creature that's about as Freudian as you can get.
We've crossed the line.
What did you expect when you made it? Didn't you have a plan?
The prime directive of any life form is to procreate. And when you create something like Dren, that's an aspect of her being that you're going to have to address. And I think what's so wonderful about the horror genre is that it gives you license to go to places that you could never comfortably go with a normal film. Like if we made a movie about incest, that's a film that probably not many people would want to see. But if you make a horror film that on a almost subliminal level deals with that theme, it actually could be wildly popular.
Become unstable.
This is the disaster everyone warns about. A new species set loose in the world.
Part of the excitement of watching this film is not knowing what Dren will ultimately become, because she evolves in her life cycle. She evolves in a very radical way, and she actually begins as something quite ugly, a creature or a child that only a mother could love. But as she grows, she turns into something quite beautiful, something that is possibly a step up on the evolutionary ladder.
It's slippery. What was that?
A mistake.
I mean, this film on some level is about, well, on many levels, is about evolution. It's about how Dren grows up. It's about how Clive and Elsa as characters grow up. And in some respect, it's about how we as a species are growing up or evolving. And I'm almost certain that, given what's going on with this technology, that we are going to play a hand in our own evolution.
This is Jacob's ladder. This is what it means. Down here is selfishness. I am the person that matters the most in the world. This is where we start. Up here, everybody matters. I love everybody. That's where God is. The ladder is the communication God uses to try to get us to go up here. The steps are true ideas. You shall not murder. Okay, I mean, I can try that. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Maybe we can get a little higher to turning the other cheek. Maybe we can love our enemies. Throughout our lives, as we take those ideas and actually stand on them, we move our way up to God. I don't know exactly what your steps will be, what truths will be in there for you, but just know God is laying those out because he wants everyone to take that climb.